Question 1. In the context of system maintenance, Mr. Thompson notices that several concurrent programs fail intermittently after a patch application. The environment is an R.2 Oracle E Business Suite with online patching enabled. What should Mr. Thompson do to identify the root cause and prevent further failures? Check the concurrent manager logs and ensure the patch applied properly. B. Immediately roll back the database to the pre-patch state. C. Modify the environment variables randomly to see if failures resolve. D. Restart the application tier without reviewing logs. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. The correct approach is to analyze the concurrent manager logs and verify patch application because concurrent program failures often result from missing or improperly applied patches or configuration mismatches, rolling back the database without assessment risks data integrity. Randomly modifying environment variables can introduce further instability and is not methodical. Restarting the application tier blindly to identify underlying issues. Proper patch validation and log analysis ensure issues are correctly diagnosed and preventive measures are implemented. Question 2. Based on the information from a recent R installation, Isa Patel is tasked with validating the technology stack configuration. She observes that several database schema objects are missing. What conceptually should she verify to resolve this problem? A. Ensure the rapid install logs indicate all schema creation steps completed successfully. B. Rerun autoconfig to regenerate context files without reviewing logs. C. Drop and recreate the application tier manually. D. Ignore the missing schemas since online patching will fix them automatically. Answer. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Online patching does not automatically recreate missing database schemas. A proactive verification is required. The correct conceptual approach involves reviewing rapid install logs to confirm that all database schemas and objects were created properly. Autoconfig regenerates context files but does not fix missing schemas. Manually dropping and recreating tiers risks corruption. Ignoring missing schemas compromises system stability and can cause subsequent patch failures or functional errors. Thorough log review and controlled intervention are essential. Question 3. From a practical standpoint, Mr. Garcia is preparing to apply a maintenance pack patch in an R.2 environment. He wants to ensure minimal downtime and prevent conflicts. What is the most appropriate step? A. Schedule patching during peak business hours. B. Use adopt to apply the patch in a controlled online patching cycle. C. Directly overwrite existing files in the application tier. D. Skip pre-patching analysis since maintenance packs are safe. Answer. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Overwriting files directly bypasses the structured adopt patching process and can lead to inconsistencies, downtime, and failed programs. The recommended procedure involves using the add online patching cycle adopt, which ensures patches are applied safely with minimal downtime by handling the additioned objects and maintaining redirect consistency. Patching during peak hours risks business disruption. Skipping pre-patching ignores potential impacts and dependencies, increasing failure likelihood. Proper patch application planning ensures reliability. Question 4. While examining environment setups, Is Huang notices that server control scripts are failing to execute correctly on the application tier. Which underlying principle should she follow to resolve the issue? A. Verify that all required environment files are sourced and accessible. B. Replace the database tier without checking scripts. C. Execute scripts on a non-production server without validation. D. Disable logging to improve script performance. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Server control script failures are typically caused by missing or improperly configured environment variables, incorrect paths, or permission issues. The correct principle is to ensure that all environment files, such as env and context files, are properly sourced and accessible for the scripts to run. Replacing the database tier without troubleshooting scripts is excessive and risky. Executing scripts on non-production servers without validation can cause unexpected errors. Disabling logging does not fix the underlying configuration issues. Systematic verification of environment setup is essential. Question 5. Given the circumstances of an R installation, Mr. Singh wants to understand why rapid install is preferred over a standard manual installation. What is the primary advantage in this context? A. Rapid install automates creating database schemas, file system structures, and context files. B. It skips prerequisite checks for faster installation. C. It requires manual editing of configuration files for each tier. D. It bypasses security checks to reduce time. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Rapid install streamlines the installation by automating database schema creation, directory structure setup, and context file generation, reducing human error and ensuring consistency across tiers. Skipping prerequisite checks or security steps is neither recommended nor an inherent advantage. Manual editing of configuration files contradicts rapid install's purpose of automation. Understanding this underlying principle clarifies why rapid install is widely used in complex business suite environments, as it ensures proper alignment between database, application, and desktop tiers with minimal manual intervention. Question 6. Through the lens of patch impact analysis, Rivera is evaluating a diagnostic patch before applying it to production. What should she do to prevent unintended consequences? A. Review the patch impact report to identify affected objects and dependencies. B. Apply the patch directly to production to save time. C. Disable concurrent programs temporarily without review. D. Ignore patch notes since the patch is labeled a diagnostic. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Patch impact analysis ensures that affected objects, dependencies, and potential conflicts are understood before deployment. Reviewing the patch impact report identifies risks and allows planning mitigation steps. Applying directly to production or ignoring patch notes introduces errors, functional failures, or downtime. Temporarily disabling concurrent programs without analysis can disrupt business processes unnecessarily. Proper evaluation aligns with Oracle's best practices for patch management, minimizing risk and ensuring stability, particularly for diagnostic patches that may touch sensitive schema or tier objects. Question 7. Considering the evidence, Mr. Ahmed notices that after running autoconfig, the application tier does not reflect updated settings. What conceptual principle explains this behavior? A. Autoconfig applies changes based on the application's context file. An incorrect context results in incomplete updates. B. Autoconfig does not affect configuration. It only restarts services. C. Manual edits to forms are always preferred over autoconfig. D. Database tier changes override autoconfig automatically. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Autoconfig is designed to propagate settings defined in the application's context file to the application tier, including environment-specific paths, database connection information, and profile options. If the context file is incorrect, changes may not reflect correctly. Autoconfig does not just restart services. It systematically configures the tier based on metadata, relying solely on manual edits, risks, inconsistencies. Database tier changes do not automatically override autoconfig. Instead, autoconfig enforces consistency from the context. Understanding the dependency between context files and tier configuration is crucial. Question 8. In the modern context of system cloning, White must replicate both application and database tiers to a test environment. What best practice ensures success? A. Perform a controlled cloning operation using Oracle cloning utilities and validate environment files post-clone. B. Copy all files manually from production to test without validation. C. Modify database links after copying without following cloning procedure. D. Skip post-clone validation of cloning completed successfully. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Successful cloning requires a structured approach using Oracle-provided cloning utilities to replicate database and application tiers while updating configuration files such as context files and environment variables. Manual copying without validation risks broken links, incorrect configuration, and application failures. Modifying database links arbitrarily can introduce inconsistencies. Post-clone validation is essential to ensure that the test environment mirrors production behavior. Following best practices ensures integrity, supports patch testing, and maintains system reliability across environments. Question 9. To what extent does effective use of ad administration utilities improve system maintenance? Mr. Lewis is exploring generating forms and relinking programs for a custom module. A. It ensures programs are correctly compiled, linked, and integrated with concurrent managers. B. It bypasses all dependency checks for faster deployment. C. It allows direct editing of database objects without control. D. It disables logging to reduce execution overhead. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Ad administration utilities are designed to compile, link, and integrate forms, reports, and programs systematically, ensuring compatibility and correct execution under concurrent managers. Bypassing dependency checks for editing database objects directly can introduce corruption, inconsistencies, or runtime errors. Disabling logging compromises traceability. Proper use of ad administration aligns with our principle of controlled, reproducible maintenance operations, supporting patch application, tier updates, and functional integrity. The utility enforces procedural correctness while reducing human error in program management. Question 10. Demonstrated by a failed installation scenario is Fernandez encounters errors midway through. A typical installation. Conceptually, what is the recommended first step? A. Review the installation logs to identify the error source and prerequisites issues. B. Restart the system randomly to clear errors. C. Delete partially created schemas and directories immediately. D. Ignore the error if installation appears to continue. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Installation logs provide the detailed sequence of steps highlighting prerequisite failures, permission issues, or configuration errors. Reviewing logs first allows methodical troubleshooting and targeted remediation. Random restarts or ignoring errors may exacerbate corruption or leave the system in an inconsistent state. Deleting partially created schemas manually is risky without analyzing root causes. Following structured log-based review ensures correct installation completion, reduces downtime, and aligns with Oracle best practices for our installation troubleshooting. Question 11. In the context of an OR environment, Mr. Jackson observes that a newly applied patch caused intermittent form compilation errors. Which approach best addresses the issue? A. Roll back the patch without analyzing logs. B. Use ad administration to relink forms and verify compilation results. C. Modify the database schema manually to force the forms to compile. D. Restart the application tier without relinking. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Form compilation errors after a patch are usually related to changes in the form source files or dependent objects. Using ad administration to relink ensures that forms are compiled correctly, dependencies are managed, and the concurrent manager can execute them. Rolling back blindly risks leaving some changes applied partially. Manual schema modifications can introduce inconsistencies, and restarting the alone does not address compilation failures. Structured relinking aligns with Oracle best practices for patch remediation. Question 12. According to recent studies, Lopez is planning to perform a standard installation on a test server. She wants to ensure all prerequisite checks are addressed. What is the most conceptually correct step? A. Verify that hardware, operating system, and database requirements meet Oracle guidelines before installation. B. Skip prerequisite checks to expedite installation. C. Use production environment settings directly without validation. D. Copy context files from another instance without review. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Proper installation requires validation of all prerequisites, including hardware, specifications, OS settings, and database versions. Skipping these checks can lead to installation failures or functional inconsistencies. Using production environment settings or copying context files blindly introduces risks of misconfiguration, environmental conflicts, and errors in tier communication. Following Oracle Guide ensures a smooth installation, proper schema creation, and avoids post-installation troubleshooting. Prerequisite verification is a key preventive step. Question 13. With respect to patching procedures, Mr. Kumar wants to apply a maintenance patch to the production environment. What is the most reliable method to ensure minimal downtime? A. Apply the patch using add-online patching, adopt and follow pre- and post-patching validation steps. B. Overwrite application files manually while users are logged in. C. Skip the patch validation steps to save time. D. Restart the database immediately after copying patch files. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Manual overwrites or skipping validation compromises system stability. Add-on line patching. ADOP is designed to apply patches safely with minimal downtime using additioned objects to allow concurrent user activity following pre- and post-patching validation ensures that patches do not affect running programs or database objects unexpectedly. Restarting the database alone does not guarantee patch application success. Using structured ADOP procedures minimizes operational risks and aligns with Oracle's practices for production environments. Question 14. During the process of maintenance mode activation, Carter finds that the application tier is still accessible to users. What should she conceptually check? A. Ensure that maintenance mode scripts executed correctly and context files are updated. B. Delete user sessions manually without running maintenance scripts. C. Ignore the issue and proceed with patching. D. Reboot all servers randomly to enforce maintenance mode. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Maintenance mode ensures that the application tier is not accessible to users during critical operations such as patching or cloning. Activation relies on scripts and context file settings to redirect or block user access. Manual session deletion or ignoring the issue can cause partial downtime and transactional inconsistencies. Randomly rebooting servers does not guarantee that maintenance mode is properly enforced. Systematic verification of scripts and context files ensures that the tier is correctly isolated before proceeding with maintenance operations. Question 15. Based on the information from system logs, Zhao notices that autoconfig fails during execution. Which conceptual approach should he adopt? A. Validate the application's context file for completeness and correct paths. B. Reinstall the entire application tier without review. C. Ignore the failure since autoconfig is optional. D. Disable logging to prevent further errors. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Autoconfig relies on the application's context file to apply configuration settings including file paths, database connections, and profile options. If the context file is incomplete or incorrect, autoconfig will fail. Blindly reinstalling the application tier wastes time and risks configuration errors. Ignoring autoconfig failures leaves the tier misconfigured, and disabling logging removes the ability to diagnose issue. Correct context file validation ensures the tier is properly configured and aligns with Oracle's automated maintenance principles. Question 16. Considering the evidence Alvarez is preparing for an ADOP online patching cycle, what factor is crucial to ensure patch success? A. Verifying that additioned objects and dependent objects are properly synchronized before patching. B. Applying patches directly on the production instance without pre-validation. C. Editing database objects manually during patching. D. Skipping the pre-patch freeze to save time. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. The add-on line patching process relies on additioned objects to apply changes safely without disrupting running users. Synchronization ensures that dependent objects are updated correctly. Applying patches directly on production or manually editing database objects introduces corruption risk. Skipping pre-patch freeze may cause data inconsistencies during patch execution. Ensuring controlled preparation, freezing verification, and validation is a conceptual necessity for safe, low downtime patching aligned with Oracle best practices. Question 17. From the perspective of database maintenance, Istero wants to analyze the impact of a diagnostic patch. Which conceptual practice is recommended? A. Use the patch impact analysis tool to identify affected schemas, objects, and dependencies. B. Apply the patch and observe errors as they occur. C. Disable all logging to accelerate patch application. D. Modify the database manually to match the patch. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Patch impact analysis tools provide insights into affected schemas, objects, and potential conflicts. Direct application without analysis risks runtime errors, functional failures, and potential data loss. Disabling logging removes traceability and troubleshooting capability, while manual database modification introduces inconsistencies. Following structured impact analysis ensures a controlled understanding of prevent unintended consequences and aligns with Oracle's methodology for pre-patch evaluation. Proper planning mitigates risks in production and test environments. Question 18. While evaluating installation logs is new and notices repeated warnings regarding environment variables, what is the best conceptual response? A. Verify and correct the environment variable settings before retrying installation. B. Ignore warnings and proceed since the installer completes anyway. C. Delete the installer files and download them again. D. Apply patches before installation to bypass warnings. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Environment variables control paths, memory allocation, and access to critical binaries. Warnings often indicate misconfigurations that can cause functional or runtime failures. Ignoring them risks unstable installation. Redownloading installer files is unnecessary unless corruption is detected. Applying patches before installation does not fix environment variable misconfigurations. Correctly verifying environment variables ensures the installer runs smoothly, creates the correct file structure, and aligns with Oracle R installation best practices. Question 19. In the modern context of cloning, Mr. Blake intends to replicate a production environment to a development instance. Which practice is conceptually correct? A. Use Oracle cloning utilities and validate context and environment files post-clone. B. Copy files manually without validating environment variables. C. Skip updating database links to reduce effort. D. Restart services immediately without checking clone tier integrity. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Cloning must replicate both database and application tiers while ensuring context files, environment variables, and configuration settings match the target instance. Manual copying risks broken paths and functional inconsistencies. Skipping updates to database links or service validation introduces errors. Using Oracle cloning utilities ensures consistent replication and operational integrity, aligning Oracle's recommended best practices. Post-clone validation confirms that the cloned instance behaves as expected, minimizing errors and ensuring testing reliability. Question 20. Through careful analysis of post-patch issues, Simmons observes that concurrent programs fail after applying a maintenance pack. What conceptual steps should be taken first? A. Relink all programs using add administration to ensure proper compilation and execution. B. Drop the database and reinstall the patch. C. Ignore failures assuming they are temporary. D. Modify environment variables randomly to fix errors. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Concurrent program failures often result from missing links, improperly compiled forms, or dependency issues after patching. Relinking with add administration ensures correct compilation and proper integration with the concurrent manager. Dropping the database is an excessive and unsafe step. Ignoring failures allows unresolved issues to impact business processes. A random environment variable changes are unpredictable and risky. Following structured relinking and verification principles ensures program stability, correct execution, and alignment with Oracle or our maintenance practices. Question 21. In the context of an Oracle environment, Mr. Davis is preparing to apply a diagnostic patch. He wants to prevent conflicts with existing customizations. What should be his first conceptual step? A. Run a patch impact analysis to identify affected objects and dependencies. B. Apply the patch directly to production. C. Delete custom objects before patching. D. Ignore patch documentation since it is diagnostic. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Patch impact analysis identifies which schemas, objects, and dependencies will be affected, helping prevent conflicts with customizations. Direct application risks runtime failures and corruption. Deleting custom objects is unsafe and unnecessary. Ignoring documentation can lead to missing prerequisites or overlooked instructions. Following the analysis ensures safe patch deployment, aligns with Oracle best practices allows planning for potential downtime or post-patch adjustments. Proper preparation minimizes system disruption and maintains stability. Question 22. According to recent studies, Clark notices that the application tier does not start properly after a standard installation. Which conceptual step best addresses the issue? A. Verify that environment variables and context files are correctly configured. B. Reinstall the database tier without checking logs. C. Modify system libraries randomly to force startup. D. Ignore the startup issue if users can access some forms. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Application tier startup relies on correct environment variables, context files, and access to required binaries and database connections. Misconfigured environment files often prevent the tier from starting. Blindly reinstalling the database is unnecessary and risky. Random modifications to system libraries can cause further failures. Ignoring startup issues risks partial functionality and data inconsistency. Systematic verification of configuration files ensures correct communication between tiers, enabling stable application startup and aligning with Oracle R installation and maintenance principles. Question 23. From the perspective of maintenance, Mr. Edwards observes that concurrent programs are running slower after patch application. What is the most conceptually sound action? A. Analyze concurrent manager logs and system performance metrics. B. Kill running programs arbitrarily to improve performance. C. Restart the database without analysis. D. Skip performance evaluation since patching is complete. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Performance degradation often results from patch-induced changes in objects, dependencies, or configuration. Systematic analysis of concurrent manager logs and performance metrics identifies bottlenecks, missing indexes, or invalid objects. Arbitrarily killing programs or restarting the database without analysis may temporarily relieve symptoms but does not resolve underlying issues. Skipping evaluation risks persistent performance problems. Understanding the impact of patches on concurrent processing is essential to maintain system efficiency and aligns with Oracle best practices for post-patch assessment and tuning. Question 24. Given the circumstances of an R12 installation, Romero wants to ensure that all required schemas are created. Which is the most appropriate conceptual step? A. Review rapid install logs to verify schema creation and completion. B. Assume schemas exist since installation completed. C. Create schemas manually without cross-verifying. D. Apply patches to trigger automatic schema creation. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Rapid install automates schema creation, but verification through installation logs ensures completeness and consistency. Assuming schemas exist is unsafe, and manual creation without cross-checking risks inconsistencies or missing dependencies. Patches do not automatically create missing schemas. Applying them without verifying the database state can cause runtime errors. Proper conceptual practice involves installation logs, confirming schema creation, and performing corrective steps if any schema is missing. This ensures a stable, maintainable R12 environment aligned with Oracle best practices. Question 25. While examining autoconfig logs, Mr. Malik notices repeated failures in generating configuration files. What conceptual principle explains the failures? A. Autoconfig depends on the application's context file, and errors occur if the context file is incomplete or incorrect. B. Autoconfig automatically fixes context file issues without intervention. C. Manual database changes override autoconfig. D. Autoconfig failures are normal and can be ignored. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Autoconfig reads the application's context file to generate configuration files and propagate settings across the application tier. If the context file is incomplete or contains incorrect paths, autoconfig cannot complete successfully. It does not automatically correct such issues. Manual database changes do not override autoconfig. They must align with configuration. Ignoring failures risks environment setup. Understanding the dependency between the context file and autoconfig ensures proper tier configuration, reliable patching, and consistent system behavior following Oracle R best practices. Question 26. In an R environment, if Simmons wants to clone a production instance to a test server, what is the best practice to ensure success? A. Use Oracle cloning utilities and validate context files post-clone. B. Copy all files manually and skip environment checks. C. Modify database links randomly to match the test environment. D. Skip validation since cloning completed. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Cloning requires replication of database and application tiers, ensuring environment files and context settings are consistent with the target instance. Oracle cloning utilities automate this and minimize human error. Manual copying and skipping checks introduce inconsistencies, broken paths, and runtime errors. Random modification of database links without controlled validation risks corruption. Proper cloning practice involves using utilities, updating configuration, and post-clone validation to ensure the test instance accurately reflects production behavior while maintaining system integrity. Question 27. Through the lens of patching, O'Neill observes that applying diagnostic patch causes certain reports to fail. Which approach should he conceptually follow? A. Check for missing dependent objects and relink reports using add administration. B. Drop the database and reinstall the patch. C. Ignore the report failures as temporary. D. Modify environment files randomly to fix the errors. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Report failures often stem from missing dependencies, invalid objects, or compilation issues after patching. Using add administration to relink ensures proper compilation, execution, and integration with the concurrent manager. Dropping the database is excessive and risky. Ignoring failures allows functional disruption. Randomly modifying environment files is unpredictable and does not address the root cause. System analysis of dependent objects, controlled relinking, and validation following patch procedures ensures stability, reliability, and adherence to Oracle R best practices. Question 20. While considering system installation, Fernandez encounters warnings about prerequisite software versions. What is the correct conceptual approach? A. Verify and install correct versions of required software before proceeding. B. Ignore warnings and continue installation. C. Download additional patches to bypass warnings. D. Modify environment files to suppress warnings. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Prerequisite software versions are essential for the installation to succeed and the application to function correctly. Ignoring warnings or attempting to bypass them can lead to failures, functional errors, or instability. Installing correct versions ensures that all dependencies are met, system libraries are compatible, and tier communication is reliable. Modifying environment files does not correct underlying version incompatibilities. Adhering to prerequisite requirements aligns with Oracle best practices, minimizes troubleshooting effort, and ensures a successful R installation. Question 29. In light of recent developments, Taylor wants to enable maintenance mode for patching but notices that users can still log in. Which step is conceptually correct? A. Verify that maintenance mode scripts executed successfully and context files reflect the changes. B. Ignore user access since patching can proceed. C. Delete user sessions manually without running scripts. D. Restart all servers to force maintenance mode. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Maintenance mode relies on scripts and context files to redirect or block user access during critical operations. Ensuring scripts executed correctly is essential to prevent access during patching. Ignoring the issue risks transactional errors and functional disruption. Manual session deletion is not sustainable and may leave residual sessions active. Randomly restarting servers does not guarantee enforcement. Maintenance mode. Conceptually, verifying scripts and context files ensures controlled isolation of the application tier, minimizes downtime, and aligns with Oracle R patching best practices. Question 30. Through careful analysis, Parker notices that some concurrent programs fail after applying a maintenance patch. What is the correct conceptual remediation? A. Relink the programs using add administration and validate execution with concurrent managers. B. Drop the database to remove inconsistencies. C. Ignore the failures assuming they will resolve naturally. D. Modify environment variables randomly to force success. Answer. Correct answer. See explanation. Failures in concurrent programs typically occur due to missing links, invalid objects, or dependency issues after patching. Using add administration to relink ensures proper compilation and integration with the concurrent manager. Dropping the database is excessive and introduces unnecessary risk. Ignoring failures allows unresolved issues to disrupt business processes. Random environment modifications are unpredictable. Are safe. Following structured relinking and validation principles ensures program stability, correct execution, and adherence to Oracle R best practices for post-patch remediation.